Hello, everyone. I'm going to read you a quick post. I understand the majority of people in here are Americans. And boy, do you have a very different reality when it comes to babies and the stuff that we do in Sweden. So, mind you, this is a woman who is from Sweden, and she is in a group chat with a lot of Americans. And she sees the way Americans handle their lives, and she's sending us a message. Shall we continue? There is too much fear in this group about the slightest things that should be regarded normal. Are you brainwashed not to trust anything when it comes to your babies? Post after post about the slightest cold being a disaster, even if unvaccinated and breastfeeding. Not letting people touch your children because of germs. I try to be supportive, but it's just the same post over and over. Don't you read the advice from others and get the same question you ask? I'm sorry for being rude, but it's just too much. Your culture has managed to fuck up the most natural thing in the world, giving birth to a baby. So much fear. We are not hyper about the slightest things here when it comes to our babies. They sleep in our bed as long as they need it. Every day, no matter how cold, our babies sleep outside. They are amongst a lot of people and meet other people's germs to stay healthy. They are outside and crawl on the ground. They might eat dirt and get messy, but it is all fine. Read The New Baby and the Child by Penelope Leach, if you can find it. And please try to relax. If you are so stressed and living in fear all the time, the baby will feel it. Good luck. Now, guys, I literally just seen this post. I briefly read it and I decide to record myself reading this post because this is a real human being. This is a real mother in Sweden, in Sweden, in Sweden. Americans, this is a real human being, a real mother with a child in Sweden. And she is in a group chat with other mothers, real human beings in America, who is seeing the way that we live and the way that we view life. And she's so confused why people are so fearful of the most natural things in earth. And I always ask myself, how do we live in a world where as soon as a newborn baby comes out, the baby is born in artificial light, the baby is born in a brick building, the baby is born in plastic, and somehow, some way, we're able to convince parents to pierce their skins with unknown chemicals, whether you're pro-vaccine or not, whether you took the shot or not, whether you plan on taking the shot or not. It would be advisable for everybody, for the sake of their health, before they decline, let's figure out what's in the vaccine before we shoot it down. Before I take it, before I decline, what is in a vaccine? Give me every single ingredient. Tell me how this vaccine is made so I can make a decision for my baby. But vaccine or not, we live in a world where people tell you if you do not vaccinate your child can become sick. Because various people are going to be coming around your child and they could make your child sick. Now think about this. If this was true, we would all cease to exist. Do you really think humans are so fragile? Do you really believe that humans are so fragile that just touching a brand new baby would make the baby sick and the baby could possibly die? At some point, humans were living outside in nature. When a baby was born, they didn't come out with clothes. The baby was not born with shoes. The baby came out exactly the way God intended the baby to come out, natural, naked. His clothes is his skin. His shoes is his feet. The bottom of his feet is bare because that's the way God intended it. And the baby was born outside just like any other living organism. And the baby will sleep in grass, play with dirt, even eat the dirt. Like this mother said, the baby might even eat the dirt because the baby doesn't know no better. The baby might eat a damn rock. The baby will fall and tumble in water that's unfiltered in nature. The baby will play around in a lake, to play around in a river, play around in the dirt, smother the dirt all over his body. The baby will see a fruit in nature that's attracting him and he may eat that fruit. And guess what? Babies have been doing this for thousands of years. Humans, the modern human has been here for over 300,000 years, according to Google. It could be longer. It could be a bit shorter. But what I'm telling you, we have been here for a long time. And we are still here and we're going to continue to be here. So why are you living in fear? Why are you fearing things that you cannot see? Every day we meet people. Every day we are touching objects. Every day we are coming in contact with bacteria that we cannot see. Every day you touch your body. A lot of us are eating foods that's not even real, but somehow is still here. The average human being comes in contact with over 80 different ingredients on the daily, excuse my language. The average human comes in contact with over 80 different chemicals on the daily basis. And a lot of these chemicals are synthetic. A lot of us sleep in synthetic fabric. We wear synthetic fabric. What is synthetic? Man-made. It should not be on the earth or anywhere near us, because if you ingest or put anything synthetic on you, you're going to pay the consequences because it is not natural to your body. But guess what? We are still here. So you do not fear that Chick-fil-A that you feed your child. You do not fear that McDonald's that you feed your child. You do not fear that baby food that is not even food. It is a bunch of chemicals. It is not real natural food that comes from nature, but you still feed your baby that food. But people are living in fear, saying that do not touch my baby, don't cough around my baby, don't sneeze around my baby, don't put my baby in the grass, don't put my baby outside, don't put my baby outside when it's cold, don't put my baby in the sun because the baby may fall sick and die, while you're feeding your baby fake food and poison, synthetic chemicals, pesticides, and herbicides. Why every day you wake up, you smoke, you drink, you party, you don't sleep, you slave away, making a piece of paper that doesn't exist in paper, that doesn't exist in nature, just to get your paycheck and have it taken, just to make a little bit of money to feed yourself and your family. But you have to go back to work and you're living in fear. What world do we live in where within 24 hours a baby is injected with unknown chemicals? If you ask your nurse, if you ask the doctor, what is in the vaccine, they cannot tell you. Ask the very same parents that's about to inject their children what is in the vaccine, and they cannot tell you, but they are going to inject their children with unknown chemicals. And then when your children has a problem because you injected your children with maybe so-called blood calf serum, maybe you injected your children with monkey kidney cell, a.k.a. SV40, that caused cancer in many people because the vaccine was contaminated. Or maybe you're injecting your children with a dead baby. When I say that, there is human aborted tissue in some of the childhood vaccines that you give your baby. Or maybe it's because you inject your baby with aluminum, which is a heavy metal, which when found in the brain, it causes autism and Parkinson's disease. You are taking the vaccine from the very CDC that when the vaccines first came out, they told you it was safe and effective. It told you it does not cause autism. And now in 2025, I'm pretty sure the month is November. The CDC has put on their website, I'm not making this up, they said it, that now they are not sure. They have no proof. They have no evidence whether vaccines cause autism or not. In other words, they have not done their research. They do not know what they're doing. But trust me, behind closed doors at the very top, these people know it causes autism, but they are letting you know to your face that we didn't do our due diligence and we injected the entire world with all these vaccines and we don't even know if it can cause autism or not. So if it causes autism, we can't prove it to you. You have to go off your own words. You have to pay the consequences for injected your own children. No one can save you. You did it to yourself. And that's what people need to understand. This world that we created it. There's no one to blame. You want to know the problem in America? You look in the mirror. Because all that poisonous food in the stores, they keep making this food because you buy it. All these poisonous drinks in these stores, they keep making these things because you buy it. They put fluoride in your water. They put fluoride in your shower. They put fluoride in your toothpaste, a well-known toxin, a well-known neurotoxin. Because you keep using these things and you don't complain. You don't even want to be aware of it because you don't want to do anything hard because you are a child. You're either a child, you're a coward, you are ignorant, or you are just pure stupid. You are a pure sheep. You are a pure animal. And what do humans see animals as below them? That's why we kill them and that's why we eat them. That's why we treat them anyhow, because we see animals as below them. And if you refuse to use your intelligence, your God-given gift of this big brain that we have, this big complex brain, if you refuse to use it, you are bringing yourself down to an animal and you deserve to be manipulated, slaughtered, and eaten for food, eaten for energy. And that's what most people are. They are walking free energy. You're going to work to the day you die. And you're going to have nothing to show for it. And you're going to breed with another human being, another slave, another animal, and make more animals for us, make more slaves for us. I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad. I'm not trying to discourage anyone. I'm not even trying to motivate anyone. I'm just telling you the hardcore truth of the world that we have created for ourselves. This is more than just vaccines. The reason I hyper focus on vaccines is because that's what my mind is preoccupied with right now. And that's the post that I seen. On the topic of viruses and diseases, did you know that no virus in history, and I repeat, no virus in history has ever been isolated? No virus in history has ever been isolated. Did you know that? And when you look up how they so-called isolate these viruses, they never isolated a virus. They never found the virus. They created a virus. How? They take monkey kidney cells. They take antibiotics. They take a whole bunch of chemicals, a whole bunch of amino acids, put it on a petri dish, put it on a cell culture. And all these chemicals are going to kill the cell and they're going to say, there we go. It killed the cell. This is polio. This is COVID. This is smallpox. This is a virus. No, this is not a virus. This is a man-made poison. But what does virus mean? It means poison. So yes, it is a virus. They created it. And then they put that same poison in a syringe and then inject it into a human being. And now you wonder why some people, not all people don't need to be sick to know that we've been injected with a poison. Some people are having problems after they get the vaccine. So now it's no coincidence after you get your flu shot, after you get the vaccine, some people straight up die. Some people have flu-like symptoms, coughing, sneezing, headaches, because we just injected you with a poison. Do you know how polio was so-called discovered? In short, and you can look this up, everything I'm saying is on Google. Everything I'm saying is online. These people are saying it, not me. These very same people that are making the vaccines and giving it to you, they're the ones who are saying it. It's online. They're not hiding these things. I tell people, they're not hiding these things. I'm not making these things up. It's real life. You either look at that evidence and you accept the truth for what it is, or you find a way to play mental gymnastics with your own brain and you're going to pay the consequences, but I'm not joining you. In short, they took spinal tissue from a sick boy who supposedly had polio. Nobody knows. He's just sick. Nobody knows if he really has polio. He's just sick. But they took his spinal tissue. They broke it down. They injected it into various animals, from my memory, and they weren't able to make these animals sick. So finally, they took the spinal tissue and injected it into monkey brains. And when they injected it into monkey brains, one of the monkeys died and one of the monkeys became paralyzed. Now tell me, what does that prove? That proves to us, based on that experiment, based on that little funny experiment, none of these things happen in nature. No one is going to take their spine in nature and put it into you and to make you sick. That's not how things get so-called transmitted. That is an experiment, a monkey experiment. That proves that if you take your spinal tissue and you break it down into liquid form, you grind up your spinal tissue and inject it into the opposite species. You inject it to another species, a monkey, and you take that syringe and you inject it directly into their brain. It proves to you that the monkey is going to have a problem. It could die. It could be paralyzed. That doesn't prove that polio exists. But they told us, this is on Google, this is on official websites, that this is how they discovered polio. By taking spinal tissue, injecting it into a monkey's brain, and making the monkey sick. And now we say polio exists. You never found polio. That's why you have to grow polio. Because polio has never been found in anyone's body. Same with every other disease. Any other virus that they claim that's super contagious. It has never been found. Never, ever. That's why they have to grow the poison with animal tissue, human tissue, and a whole bunch of toxic chemicals to literally create the virus. In other words, create the poison and then give it to you and then create the pandemic. The PCR test is the very same test they use to diagnose people with COVID-19. The creator of the PCR test said himself on video, you do not use the PCR test to diagnose diseases and viruses. It does not make you sick. The PCR test can make something small, something big. It can make something out of nothing. He told us that we are using his invention improperly and it should not be used to diagnose diseases and viruses. But if you go to the doctors right now and they want to test you, they're going to use that PCR test and it's going to give you false results. This is the world that you live in. The inventor himself said it should not be used, yet we're still using it. And guess what happened? Around COVID-19, just guess what happened? He died. What a coincidence, right? He died. What a coincidence, right? And if you don't believe me when I say that this blood calf serum and some of the vaccines that your children take, there's monkey kidney cells, SV40, that causes cancer, and in particular the polio vaccine. You don't believe me that there's aborted fetal tissue in some of the vaccines that we take, egg protein, guinea pig cells, and some of the vaccines that we take, millions of human DNA strands to some of the vaccines we take. And guess what? They had to test these vaccines out. And guess who they used? They used the undesirable, the lowest of the lows of society. I didn't say it, they said it. Orphans, mentally retarded children, babies whose mothers are in prison. They use Africans in Congo, millions of Africans in Congos as test dummies, as rats, like those monkeys, experiments. Let's see if we can infect one of these animals, one of these low people, one of these retarded people, one of these babies and their mothers are in prison. Like animals. Stanley Plockton, medical doctor. Stanley Plockton, MD. Stanley Plockton, MD, they call him the godfather of vaccines. They call him the godfather of vaccines, a leading authority on vaccines. Give me 1 second because I need to look up exactly what vaccines he helped influence. I just need to look it up. But long story short, Stanley Plockton, on video, under oath, during a 9-hour disposition, he admitted all of these things that I just said. He admitted that the vaccine, he admitted on video, 9 hours under oath, being investigated, being under a disposition, a 9-hour video, and I watched the whole thing by a lawyer. He admitted that the vaccines have blood calf serum. Blood from a calf, an animal. He admitted that aborted fetal tissue, so that means they had to get this aborted fetal tissue from an aborted baby. How did they pull the tissue? They chop up the baby. What did they do to get this tissue? And why are they injecting this tissue into living babies, into living human beings? He admitted it. He admitted it that they used undesirables like retarded children to test these things. He admitted it. I think they said they used lungs. They used tongues. These are the things that these people are doing behind closed doors to make a so-called vaccine to inject you with it. So let me just read a little thing about Mr. Plockton. Give me 1 second. He helped formulate the rubella vaccine. Give me 1 second, man. Give me 1 second. 1 second. So he's best known for developing the rubella vaccine, which is a standard one used worldwide today. He was also instrumental in creating the modern-day rabies vaccine by developing human diploid cell vaccine. His influence expands on the other works of other vaccines for polio, varicella, and the one that I cannot mention. Okay. Like I said, they call him the godfather of vaccines. And he admitted it, not me. It's the CDC that told you that it doesn't cause autism. And now they're telling you they don't know if it causes autism or not. It's not me that's saying it. It's them not saying it. So when you're ready to face the truth, because I tell people all the time, it's not about being right or wrong. I'm not trying to prove you wrong. This has nothing to do with my ego. I don't really gain nothing from trying to prove you wrong. I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm not trying to say you're less of a human being. I want to know the truth. Show me the evidence like an adult. I'm going to show you the evidence like an adult. We're going to come together. We're going to debate. We're going to take our time to look at both sides, and we're going to come to a conclusion. And we need to find the truth because people are dying and people are suffering. I tell people, I understand that people are dying. We see the death. You see the death. You experience the death. But what did they die from? Yes, we see symptoms. I can cut my arm today. I can drink bleach today, and I can show the same symptoms of so-called maybe COVID, maybe measles, maybe smallpox, depending on who's looking at me, depending on what test they use on me. Because like I told you, the PCR test is fraudulent. It is being misused. The creator of the PCR test said that it's not used to diagnose diseases and viruses, but this is the very test that they will pull out and use on you. One second, people. What test do they use to diagnose a virus? The nucleic acid amplified test, NAAST, or molecular test, which includes, I can't say this, chain reaction, aka the PCR test, detect actual genetic material of the virus. For these tests, samples are usually taken by a healthcare provider and transported to a laboratory. So in other words, they use NAAS or molecular tests, which includes the PCR test. And anyone who is using the PCR test to diagnose a virus or disease is getting a false result every single time because it is not used to diagnose diseases and viruses, but the very same healthcare system that we all put all our faiths on, they are using a fraudulent system. So they told you that your mother, your father, your uncle, your child may have died of COVID-19, polio, and smallpox, and they used the PCR test to diagnose it, but the PCR test is false. So what did they really die from? I'm not saying they didn't die, but what did they really die from? Let me give you my perspective. I believe that diseases and viruses don't exist. I believe that starvations and poisons exist. If I starve you in any way, you are going to show a symptom of sickness. Example, if I stop feeding you, you're going to lose weight. You're going to become weak. Your energy is going to decrease. Your vitality is going to decrease. Your energy for life is going to decrease, and eventually you're going to die because I starved you. You're hungry, and I'm not feeding you. If I stop giving you liquid, hydration, water, fruits and vegetables that have water. Eventually, you're going to die of dehydration. But before you die, you're going to show all types of symptoms of sickness. If I deprive you of social connection, which a lot of people are deprived of today, if I put you in a dark room every day for 2 weeks, and all I give you is a phone, and food and water, but you're in a dark room and you haven't talked to a human being in 2 weeks, do you seriously think you're gonna come out sane after that 2 weeks of staying in a dark room, not seeing a single person? No, you're gonna come out sick. If I deprive you of love, family, and friends for too long as a human being, you're not going to be able to function properly because you need these things in order to live. If I deprive you of anything you need for your life, you are going to have problems. And if I take you to the doctor without your doctor knowing these things, example, if your doctor doesn't know you're starving and you're showing symptoms of diseases and viruses, you're coughing and you're sneezing, you have headaches, you have migraines, and you're losing excessive weight, but your doctor doesn't know that you're starving, your doctor is going to look at you. And since your doctor is trained to look at symptoms and not get down to the root cause, he is going to diagnose you with something. He's going to put a dirty name on you and say you have this when really you were being starved. We're no different from an animal or a plant. Right now, every single plant in my granny's garden is dying. Because why? It's winter. It is too cold for them. There's no sunlight. There is no water. They cannot grow in this environment. They are being deprived. But these very same plants, and this happens every year like a cycle. It's predictable. Everybody knows. In the summertime, all of those dead plants are going to become lively again. Why? Because they're getting sun, they're getting water, and they are in the environment that is acclimated for their growth. They are getting what they need as plants. So they're going to grow. And if you take it away, they're going to die. Same with a lion. If you put a lion in a cage and you lock him up and you don't allow him to hunt and you don't feed the lion is eventually going to become frail, weak, low energy. And if you take that very same lion to the doctor and the doctor doesn't understand what the lion is going through, the doctor is going to say, this lion has a disease or a virus, but no, this lion is starving. Now let's get to the poisons. I'm going to teach you how to create a pandemic. If I put bleach in a neighborhood, in the neighborhood's water supply, within a week, everyone in that neighborhood that is drinking that water is going to become sick. Why? Because they're drinking bleach. It can kill you. If it doesn't kill you, you're definitely going to get sick. And everybody's going to go to the local hospital. And the local hospital is going to be saying all these type of sicknesses. The local hospital is going to see people dying. And all of these things are happening in one area. And at some point, they're going to start pulling out these tests. Some of these tests are fraudulent. And they're going to start looking at these symptoms and they're going to start piling it together and say, yo, listen, I think people in this area have COVID-19 or polio or smallpox or measles, whatever they want to call it. They call it that. And now we have a pandemic. But what these people don't know is that there is poison in the water. And everybody is falling sick because their body is doing what it's supposed to do, which is expelling the poison. If you drink a poison today, your body is going to do everything possible to get rid of it. You're not sick. Your body is doing what it's supposed to do because you have been poisoned. Throw up, sneeze, cough, poop, pee. Give him a fever so he can sweat the toxins out. Your body is a healing mechanism. God made no mistakes with the body. Everything that's happening to you is not happening on accident. You may not be aware of why it's happening because you don't know yourself. You have never been taught about yourself. You have been taught to go against your body. So when you're coughing and sneezing, instead of letting the coughing and sneezing run its course, because obviously something is coming out that's not supposed to be there, your body is not dumb. Your body is not in pain for no reason. You're not suffering for no reason. You go to the doctor who is trained to see your body healing itself as the problem, and they're going to give you a magic pill. It's called pharmakeia or pharmakeia. Pharmakeia or pharmakeia. Look it up. Matter of fact, let me just read it to you. I'm here. I'm here with you. Let me just read it to you. Give me 1 second, because I got this in my notes. Pharmakeia or maybe pronounced pharmakia, is a Greek term that means the use of drugs, but in the biblical content, it refers to sorcery, witchcraft, or magic, often involving the use of drugs or poison for harmful or occultic purposes. Occultic means hidden. It is the root of the modern English word pharmacy and originally referred to the practice of mixing substances, whether for medical, poisonous, or magical reasons. So when you go to the doctor, you got your headache, you got a stomach ache, you got cramps, you got body pains. Instead of you looking at your life and saying, what caused this? And when I find what caused it, let me stop. And while it's happening, let me allow it to run its course naturally. And if I want to intervene, instead of go to the medical system and taking that magic pill, that witchcraft, that sorcery to make all my pains go away, let me drink some water. Let me take a nap. Let me rest. Let me go for a walk. Let me sunbathe. Let me put my feet in the grass, lay my body in the grass and get some sun. It's too cold outside. Let me make some tea. You got some lemon balm? You got lavender? You got cleaver's leaf? You got white oak bark? You got damiana? What you got for me to make me feel good, man? Make me feel good. Give me something. You got ginger? You got lemon? You got lime? What you got for me? You got garlic, you got onions, you got some salads, you got some fruits and vegetables. Give me something that's going to make me feel good, man. But instead of doing something natural that's not going to harm you, that's going to help you heal and give you some extra benefits and it just tastes so good, instead you go to the medical system and they give you this magic pill and tell you, take this and watch all your pains go away. And just like magic, your headache, your stomach pain, it went away. But guess what? You took a toxin that literally disconnected you from your body. So that stomach ache, that pain is actually still there, but they just turned it off. And guess what? At some point, the drug that you took, the poison, the witchcraft, the sorcery, or let's just call it medication, whatever you want to call it, whatever you think it is, it's going to fade off. And if you never got down to the root cause, if your body didn't do what it's supposed to do, which is get rid of it, guess what? It's going to come back. And guess what you're going to do? You're going to come back for them drugs. And this is why, according to the CDC, see, I'm not making these things up. This is them. According to the CDC, more than half of America is obese. More than half of America, more than half, not a little bit over half, more than half of America is obese, on drugs, guys, on drugs, pharmacia, pharmacy drugs, medication, witchcraft, sorcery, magic, or dealing with one chronic illness or more. Your system has failed you. You don't got to know exactly what they're doing to know that they're doing something wrong. You don't got to know the truth to know that someone is not telling the truth. Something is wrong. When are we going to stand up like adults and look at the truth and say that something is wrong, and if we do not figure out what is wrong, we are going to continue to suffer, not only us, but the unborn children and the children who cannot make decisions for themselves. They didn't ask to be here. We brought them here. So what are we going to do to better their lives? Mark Twain once said, and I quote, "The truth is stranger than fiction because fiction is obligated to stick to possibilities. Truth isn't." In other words, the truth is plain. It is what it is. You either accept it or you don't, but it is the truth. But fiction is endless. We can play mental mind games all we want because fiction sticks to possibilities. It could be this, it could be this, it could be this, it could be this, it could be that, it could be this. We're going to be running in circles for forever until we sit down and we say, what is true and what is not? And sometimes, most of the time, really, in order to find the truth, damn near every time, in order to find the truth, you got to navigate through what's not true. So it's best for you to find out what's not true, throw that out of the window, and eventually you're going to be left with the truth because the truth is the truth. And that's how I all started. It all started with me. Well, it started with so many things with life that just didn't make sense. But it all started with diabetes, pre-diabetes, because at least from my memory, I don't think I was ever fully diabetic. And if I was, it wasn't for long, but I was always pre-diabetic and I always dealt with these symptoms. And for 24 years of my life, my own family would tell me that diabetes is in us. It's in our blood. You cannot avoid it. You can minimize it. You can mitigate it, but it's going to come. So accept it. It's who you are, and we all accept it. And the sooner you accept it, the better things would be. I go to the medical system, and their ultimate solution is drugs. Now, maybe if I would have did some more wandering, I would have ran into a better doctor. But unfortunately, the ones I have ran into, their ultimate solution was drugs. And when I talked to the nurses and doctors, their solution for themselves was drugs. For themselves, for their children, for their family. Everybody was saying, accept it. This is who you are. And that's what I did for a very long time. Until one day I woke up and I said, I no longer want to accept this. I'm sick of being sick. And I made a change. I completely went to the opposite side of what everyone was telling me. And I went to a side that when I heard the other side, I didn't really believe their claims. They were telling me that diseases and viruses don't exist, and these same diseases and viruses that people fear, we're healing them naturally through fasting, through fruits and vegetables, through changing a diet, through changing your mind. A lot of this sounded to me like woo voodoo type things, magical type things, fake type things, godly type things. No way this is real. But I said, you know what? The other side is not really giving me results. They're not giving me solutions that I liked. And I've been on this side for 24 years. Let me just test the other side, even though I don't agree. Let me entertain an idea that I disagree with. Let me just entertain it. I'm not going to fully give in, but let me just entertain. And within 2 weeks of adopting a predominantly fruit-based diet, in other words, to make it simple, I went vegan, but I did predominantly fruits and vegetables. Within 2 weeks, all of my symptoms of pre-diabetes disappeared. And I said symptoms because I didn't go to the hospital immediately and get my blood withdrawn. I did that months later. But within 2 weeks, all of it disappeared. And within months, I literally felt my whole body change. I felt my mind change. I felt my body being ripped apart. I had to get clean first. All of the waste that was building up in my body had to come out. For damn near 2 weeks straight, I was pooping every day. And there was one day where I literally pooped a minimum of 10 times from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. I remember it like it's yesterday because I kept running to the toilet and I kept pooping and I kept thinking to myself, what is coming out of my body? I'm not even eating that much. I lost 22 pounds in 2 weeks. I'm not eating. What is coming out of my body? It is all of the food, all of the destruction I have done to my body for years and years. My body is finally getting it out. Because I'm giving my body what it needs. I'm hydrating my body and taking all of that hard dookie out of my stomach, softening it so it can come out. And it stunk. And it came out for weeks. It didn't just come out of my butt because I have many openings. It came out of my skin. I had rashes coming out of my back. I didn't know. Somebody told me. They said, yo, bro, do you scrub your back? Because your back looked crazy. I said, word, and I smiled. Because I understood what my body was doing. It's getting rid of all the toxicity by any means necessary. Through my butt, through my pee, through my skin, through my hair. I had excessive dandruff coming through my head, my scalp. I had black stuff coming out of my right ear. I thought I had an ear infection, but no. It was just coming out of my ear. I didn't really like that. It wasn't very pleasant. It didn't really look appealing to my eyes. But when it came out, it never came out again. It never came in again. It was coming out through my nose. After every meal, I'm spitting out mucus and I'm sneezing out mucus. It's coming out through my eyes, eye boogers. Every way possible was coming out because now all pathways are open. And when I finally got clean, I literally felt like a dumbbell was lifted from my insides. And I felt like a brand new person. And one of the major side effects I dealt with having pre-diabetes. I wasn't even fully diabetic. Was number one, I was always thirsty. Number two, I was always peeing. Number three, I had anxiety. I meet people every day. There's no reason I should have anxiety. I should be used to meeting people every day and talking to these people, but somehow I still have anxiety. I can't help it. And number four, after every big meal, particularly after 2 p.m., because that's when I eat the biggest meal, I would always have mood swings and I would literally feel like I'm not myself. I couldn't control myself. And the only way I could get back into balance was by working out and sweating. And that's why I was a workout junkie. That's why I was so big. That's one of the reasons I was eating so much, because I was bodybuilding, because bodybuilding made me feel good. It made me feel balanced. I finally felt normal when I was lifting weights. And all of these things self-corrected when I simply stopped eating the food that was making me sick. I stopped subscribing to the mindset of fear and I freed myself. I walked in the truth. I looked at the truth. I confronted it and I gained the benefits when everything was said and done. And now today I'm so free. I'm so free. Now I'm willing to risk my life for speaking the truth. Because I wish somebody would have did the same. I wish somebody would have looked at me and told me, you're poisoning yourself, you're doing wrong, and if you don't change, you're going to keep paying the consequences for it. Of course, at the time, I'm too young. I don't understand. I don't have enough experience. I don't have enough awareness, nor do I want to be open to that experience. The person who would have told me that, I probably would have kicked them out of my life. But with time, I would have said, damn, this person is telling the truth. Matter of fact, where's this person at so I can hug them? I hope I still got their number. I hope they still got the same number. I hope they still live in the same place, because I need to find this person. I need to apologize, because this person was looking out for me when I didn't want to look out for myself. And this is the reason every day I still wake up. I burn my eyes looking at this phone, keep doing research, trying to find ways to convince people. I sit here for hours and hours shooting videos and recording videos, recording voice memos that some people just don't see because I never posted, or some people never see because it never reaches them. But I keep doing it. I keep going to places and keep sharing this information and literally debating with people, making myself feel some type of way, making themselves feel some type of way, getting in uncomfortable situations, because I know that I'm telling the truth and I'm not feeding my own ego. I'm telling the truth. And the truth is leading me. Nothing else. Nothing else. So I don't care who I disappoint. I don't care what happens to me. I don't care what I lose, how I lose it, when I lose it. Because at some point I'm going to lose it all. At some point I'm not going to be on this earth. I only have one life. So what am I truly living for? Do I really want to live my life in a lie and tell other people's lies just to get past life? I don't want to do that. If you want to do it, so be it. You pay the consequences. I don't want to do it. And I'm going to pay the consequences for walking the path that I walk. And I'm okay with that, because this world is sad. People are depressed. People are suffering and they're not getting help. They're being misled. And I don't want to be involved in that. I don't want to help these people remain sick. If I know better, I do better. If I know better, I tell people and I give them the opportunity. I give them options. And if they don't take it, that's on their soul, not mine. Isn't that what Jesus was doing? Jesus was Jesus for 3 years. His reign was only 3 years. And within 3 years, he basically became the most remembered, the most greatest man in history without even grabbing a sword, without killing a soul. With his words, his teaching, his kindness, and his fearlessness, within 3 years, Jesus' reign was never forgotten. And he died. He was put on a cross for what he believed in. And even on the cross, he asked for forgiveness. He asked God, Father, forgive these people because they don't know any better. How can you be mad with a man like that? Even if he's not on your side, how can you be mad? Even in the time of his death, he's still pleading with you. He's still trying to save you. He's asking for your forgiveness. He's basically sacrificing himself for you. And now he's gone. And what do? We cry in his name. We kill in his name. We beg in his name. We do everything in his name. But when it's time to really walk that path, many do not walk it.